Hello, my name is Miriam Z. Thank you for being here today, and I'm very grateful to Manal and Noha for inviting me to be here, as well as all those that sponsored, all of you who are here to partake in creating this beautiful mural in the Golden Hall. So thank you to all the dignitaries and everyone who made this possible, and I'm grateful to be a part of the team and be here to talk to you about the Zentangle Art Method. We're going to talk about that to draw and become mindful. But first, while these two terms, meditative and mindful, have similarities, let's cover what separates them. Mindfulness requires us to be aware of what's around us and how our bodies feel. Meditation is a practice that reels us in our thoughts to calm the mind. And that is how the Zentangle meditative art form flows. I am located in Tampa, Florida. I'm Miriam Z, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and an expressive arts facilitator. I'm a two-type cancer survivor where the second cancer I experienced required me to post-surgically learn how to sit up, stand up, and walk again. And it was there in the Arts and Medicine studio in my cancer center that I learned about the Zentangle Art Method and began a daily personal practice. From there, everything grew. I became an advocate for arts and health. I have exhibited in galleries throughout the state of Florida, and I am a teaching artist in the community for things such as the events like today. I facilitate both public and private classes, in person and online. And prior to coming to Arts and Health, I was an award-winning environmental consultant in sustainability and zero waste. So I'm grateful to share with you what this method is. So Zentangle is a method of 8 steps. They're meditative steps, and we'll talk about them more in a minute. It's also a stress reducer. It's a hand-to-eye exercise art method that really does provide exercise with that hand-to-eye move coordination, and it builds a rhythm actually. It's an expressive practice, so it's coming from within and the self to explore, and it's part of the healing arts. And it was founded by Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas. This art is a form of meditation. It's not art therapy. Instead, the artist is an observer, free of expectations of what will not be required of them, since it's an exploration. So there's that freedom. And it's an opening to explore the process, not the end product, but the journey through the process. It's a very humbling art, very humbling art. It's not eye-centered. Instead, something greater, more organic, natural occurs. It's really powerful because the calm that comes in really allows the experience to be about the flow, that creative flow, and the present moment being. It's structured patterns and quadrants. So what does that mean? Here you see a nice square tile. And in that tile, you'll see different patterns that are done in more of a layering form, kind of like a cake. And we have something that we do in this method that allows the tile to be sliced, as I like to say, into different quadrants. The same way something like a pizza or a flatbread might be after it comes out of the oven. It's whole when it goes in, but it's sliced. And that's what we do with ink, with our string, in creating these sections to create the repetitive patterns that get us in the Zen. And in Zentangle art, we call patterns tangles. So you find the Zen in the tangle, as I like to say. Some of the experiences that many people receive as benefits from this art form including myself. It helps to reduce anxiety that might come up by slowing the mind and aiding sleep. And I know that I can, kind of testament to that, because that's why I actually was encouraged to use it by my cancer center and their arts and medicine studio. It's also called yoga for the mind. And I really love that saying, because it is yoga for the mind in an art form. It also helps to manage pain by distracting the mind from it. It doesn't take it away. I want to be really clear, but that distraction for the moment that I'm creating or you're creating, there's just this state that you're so present that kind of everything else gets pushed away. And you're right there with your ink, making the stroke, whether it's colored ink, whether it's black ink, white ink, whatever it might be. And that just takes you away. And it's just a refreshing feeling, especially in the sense of if you have physical pain. What are the benefits? Well, it increases focus and creativity. And who doesn't need that, right? We need that release. Also, it increases the sense of personal well-being. In a time where self-care is so important that we pay attention to, it is one of the best benefits, and why I continue to this day, 10 years later, to continue to have a daily personal arts practice, if not a weekly personal practice. Just 15 minutes in the morning, maybe 15 minutes at a tea break or lunch, or 15 minutes at night before you go to bed. Those are moments that we can take to actually take some self-care through this art method. It's so relaxing. And then the main reason it's so relaxing is there's really two mantras that we talk about when we talk about the Zentangle Art Method. There are no mistakes. There are no mistakes in this. This is not a prescriptive art form, right? As you'll see today, it is a no mistakes only opportunity. So we actually stop self-judgment if we make a quote mistake, and we see it as an opportunity to see if something else can be created by it. Maybe a new pattern. It's also an art form that is very easy to learn, and what I love about it is it's portable. So in its ease to learn, we're talking about 5 to 7 strokes. They're line strokes or circular strokes, or what we call the alpha strokes. So just a few to learn how to draw almost anything that you will see in pattern step outs, in patterns online, patterns in nature, patterns in architecture, patterns in your culture. Once you get into this method, you see patterns everywhere in the environment. So it's just a very powerful piece that also makes you very aware of how all those lines and strokes and orbs and circles all come together. So it's portable. We work in small tiles, as you see here, and it allows for a sense of confidence because you can complete it. It's not something that is going to take hours and hours and hours to do, and that builds confidence in that completion of something that you've created that's been relaxing and fun. And then when the end, you're like, wow, this is incredible. I did this. But that intention was more about the process, being present in the journey to then create that artistic masterpiece. Why? Because you are an artist and I am an artist. We're all creative beings inside, especially with this non-prescriptive art form that anyone can do regardless of age, regardless if you're a seasoned artist or have no art experience at all. Lastly, it works because it improves through the method, and as you do it more and more, every day or every week or whenever with a practice that you can begin, it brings a body, mind, spirit focus and balance into the here and now. It absolutely allows you through this meditative art form to become a more mindful individual in the way you walk in your life. Is it complicated? Not at all. I mentioned it utilizes repetitive strokes of patterns that are, as we call, tangles, which are soothing and have made an overall, for me, made me an overall better artist. When I started the practice, I never thought I would end up in galleries. Never thought I would. I'm a pattern ink artist. I draw botanicals, and I also draw and express and have a release of my experience through all the cancers that I've had, all the rehabilitation that I've had, all of the surgeries that I've had over a 10-year span, to express myself and release through my strokes some of the losses that have occurred through that. And many other people have expressed that in whatever avenue they might need to use the art, not just in the way that I'm expressing it here today. It is not complicated. It requires minimal decision making. And the 8-step method that it follows is we start with gratitude, which is, or an intention, before we begin. Sitting quietly, taking a breath, getting ourselves rooted like a tree. Then we do corner dots on our paper tile, connect the dots, create a string, add patterns, aka tangles. Invite shade and light through a pencil and a blending tool to help bring that into a more three-dimensional piece. And this slide shows it in the tile that's here. Lastly, I said you are an artist. I am an artist, right? And so we need to sign and date our work of art. And then in the end, which is probably my favorite part, is we appreciate our pieces, whether we're on the Zoom cocoon, as I call it, in our individual windows, or whether we're together. We create a mosaic, placing all the tiles side by side so we can appreciate in community. And through that, see how we all have we have a lot of similarities, but we're all also individually unique individuals, bring our creative self to this method. So in closing, certified Zentangle teachers like myself, teach Zentangle. We've gone through the training and all that. But if you love this method, if you learn it, more about it today as you're trying to break the world record for the longest mural, which I think is fascinating and exciting, you may just want to share it with your friends, family, and others. And there's videos like they're out there on YouTube with step outs for patterns, or on Pinterest, or whatever that might be. So I really want to thank you for being here today. And if you have any more questions, thoughts, or want to learn more about it, visit me at www.encasawithmiriam.com. That's ENCASAWITHM as in Mary.com. Thank you.